Will you join me in prayer? Mother, Father, God, may the words that your body, your family, your people need to hear today come forth as they need them. Amen. I admit that when I started preparing for this sermon, I had a very simple view of these readings. The view that I've heard from pulpits my whole life. Different parts of the body. The hand, the foot. Everybody has their part to play. That's kind of what it seemed to me. And then the least honored is honored the greatest. Is that why we have an a-hole in charge? Anyway, so as I'm looking at it, I realized that it meant more than that. That really wasn't what it was about. And it also isn't really what you guys need. This church gets everybody doing the part. More than any other church I've ever been into in my life, this church comes together and makes things happen. It really, really does. And I'm proud to be part of that. Whether I'm the hand, the foot, or the big toe. I'm proud of that. And that's not a message you guys need to hear. But really, in a sense, that's not even really what they were talking about. Because he was talking about the body of Christ as a whole. So then I realized that maybe what he's saying is that every church, every body within the body, has its part to play. You think about it. Our church, this church, here in Seattle, helps the homeless. We help prisoners in the letter writing ministry. We do a lot of things for this community, for such a small body, for such a small group. We do a lot of really neat and wonderful things. From the youth meetup group to, like I said, feeding the homeless. There's a lot that we do. So that's what we do. And other churches all over the world all serve their purpose. So why is it so many times Christians will argue that their church is the way it should be everywhere? There's my dad loved, my family's Scandinavian, and my dad loved this joke book about Scandinavian jokes. And one of them was about Ole. And Ole said he didn't understand all this church division. Why couldn't everybody live in one big, happy Lutheran church? And the point behind that is everybody's willing for all the churches to be the same, as long as it's the same as their church. And I think the whole concept is wrong. I think that a church in Salt Lake City, whether it's an MCC church or another kind of church, is speaking to a different community with different problems, with different worries. So that church needs to be different than the MCC here in Seattle in order to serve that body. And a church in Florida, or a church in Alabama, or a church in New York would all need to be different. Or a church in Mercer Island compared to a church here, compared to a church in, like my hometown of Nacelle, which is a little itty-bitty town that most people never heard of in Southwest Washington. So is it wrong that those churches are different? And I say no. One's a hand, one's a foot. And they each serve their part for the greater whole. So why would one church say that they're the right church and all the other churches are wrong? That's what he's talking about. That's what that's about. And so I thought I had it figured out. And I started writing a sermon. I was really happy with myself. Then I realized it meant something else too. MCC is a really strongly LGBT-centric church. Not that there isn't people that are not within that group in the church, but we're a strongly LGBT-centric church. And in humanity, some people are gay, some people are lesbian, some people are transgender, some people are gender non-defining in whatever way that they see that's where they are. Some people are bisexual, some people are queer, some people are intersex, some people are a lot of different things. And then the boring people are straight and heterosexual. But the point is that also is about that.
That's right.
That message is also about the fact that there are all different kinds of people, different identities among people. And those identities have a right to exist, have a right to their unique niche in the world, because they have a message. Each person that's walking that way, and really I believe every person on earth has a message that only they can deliver. Now, I'm an author. I write books. And I'm proud of what I write. But I can't write the book that you guys would write. And I say every person that walks and breathes has at least one book in them. And that's their own story. And it's a beautiful and it's an amazing story. And there's some parts where people would cry. There's parts where people would giggle maniacally. And there are parts where people would sigh and be really satisfied in that story. But only that person can tell that story. Nobody else can tell it. Because it's their story. And so in that sense, that's what that reading was about. That we all have our unique part and our unique identity and our unique way to be in the world. And so then I thought I understood it. And then I was reading the other reading where Jesus is quoting from Isaiah. And when they put together the liturgy, and that comes from the liturgical calendar where people in suits decide which readings should happen each week of the year. And they do that so that they can share the Bible with the congregation, but also there's structure involved with that. So what did the one reading have to do with the other? And so then I really started thinking about what Jesus was saying. And at the core, he was talking about his own ministry and how the Old Testament promise was being fulfilled in what he was doing. Now, people were already learning a little bit about what he was doing. You know, he turned water into wine and they had a party. And he'd already done a number of things. So people were looking at him and they're paying attention. And then he read that. He chose to read that one, and he's in his hometown. And they say, and the way I've always heard this one interpreted is that no prophet is accepted in their own people. I understand that. I don't always agree with it, but I kind of understand that interpretation. But again, I started to look at it, and there's more to it than that. I realized what Jesus was doing was coming out. He was coming out of the closet. Now, for people that exist in the LGBT community, the closet's ours, right? We're the ones that come out of the closet. Nobody else got closets, and that's not true. That is absolutely not true. Now, that's a little bit of a sacred cow for our community, and I know that. But it's not true. Everybody has closets, or just about. Those secrets that you're holding, and that they're holding you back because you're afraid of somebody else knowing about it. Now, that could be a gambling addiction. That could be a love of football in a family that people don't like that. That could be any number of different things. It's not necessarily who you love, or how you identify as a person. And if you think about that, Jesus was coming out and declaring that he was a prophet, and declaring that he was the Messiah. That was a coming out. That was a burning down of the closet and stepping out fabulously. And that became profound for me. And then I realized the hand comes out, and the foot comes out, and the eye comes out. Because we're all of those things. Each our own unique individual. And so when Jesus came out to his family, just like has happened in so many people in the LGBT community, what did his family do? We're told that they rejected him. That the community said, no, wait a minute, that's Jesus. He's the one that fixed my roof. He's no prophet. They says, no, Jesus, you hung the door in my barn. You're no prophet. Get your chisel, get your shovel, your hammer, and all of your tools, and get back to work. I have a door that needs fixed. Mind your place. And that message resonates with me. Because I could not tell you how many times people have told me to mind my place, to stay the way that they want you to be, to continue to exist in this lesser life so that they can be comfortable with who you are. And I tell you, brothers and sisters, nobody has the right to do that to another human being. Amen. That is something that I strongly believe. And that's the message Jesus was saying when he was talking to his own people and they were rejecting him. He was showing that, okay, you don't want me to do this. You don't want me to follow the call that I see that God has called for me. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Because that's who I am. That's my mission. That's my identity. That's my purpose. And so I'm going to reject you. And if I lose my family, I have my family of choice. I have the community of believers, of friends that are following me and are wrapping around me, are learning from me, and I'm learning from them. And we're a community, and that is my family. If my other family is going to reject me, that is my family. Now, not all of his family rejected him. That said that his mother and some of his brothers and sisters followed him. You say, but Jesus was born from a... She had more kids. Come on. Joseph got it. Anyway. You kind of know what I'm trying to say here. The dude scored eventually. So the point is, he wasn't rejected by everyone. And in my own coming out story, I had one brother that told me to walk out the door, come back in, and tell me that I'm dying of cancer. Or tell him that I'm dying of cancer. That was hard. And I'll say that he did come around, and we're still friends, and we still make things work, and we get along. And then the best was my son, Lucas, who told me, he said, Dad, I know lots of people weirder than you. Total acceptance. From the get-go, total acceptance. And the point is although Jesus lost some of his family, he lost some of his community, but he gained a whole new community, a whole new identity, a whole new way of being. And that's a model that our community follows today. And that's a message that our people need to understand. That nobody has the right to tell you who you are and to decide what your identity is. And when you pursue that identity, amazing things can happen. Things that you and I cannot imagine. Futures that you and I cannot conceive. And there'll be struggles. And there'll be troubles. And there'll be hard days. Because there is. That's part of being human. But there's going to be greatness. And there'll be amazing things too. And you will be part of a community. Whether you're the hand, or you're the foot, or you're the eye. Or you serve whatever purpose that you need to. The liver that gets rid of all that alcohol. Anyway, the point is that we all have a path. When I do communion, a lot of times that will be my prayer. It was, I'm blessing you on your path. Because your path's unique. It's not my path. My path is going to be interesting. Your path is no doubt going to be as well. But your path is your path. It's not for me to decide. But I can bless you on it. I can encourage you. I can encourage you to go down that path to do the unique things that you're called to do. And the things that you want and need to do to accept who you are. It's not like you're choosing to be lesbian or you're choosing to be gay or you're choosing to be trans or whatever. You are what you are. But how you act as that person is a choice. Do you hide your light under a bushel, which of course will catch on fire. But anyway, you hide your life under a bushel, your light under a bushel, and not let anybody know who or what you are. Or do you boldly go out there and declare that you have a right to be, and that you have a job to do, a path to follow, people to help, lives to change? And how will that look for you? I don't know. It's not for me to decide. And I wouldn't, even if I was given the opportunity, for it's not mine to decide. It's only your path. It's between you and God. But that's the beauty. That's the blessing. And that's also the opportunity. Thank you and amen.
Amen.